More violence today in Syria. Some key Syrian cities engulfed in fighting on this Wednesday. Rebels and government troops are squaring off once again in Aleppo, Homs, and Hama. But the violence seems to be concentrated today, at least, in the capital, Damascus. This is the skyline in Damascus earlier today. Opposition activists are reporting at least 67 deaths in the capital alone. They say more than 100 have been killed nationwide. And on the Turkish border, the opposition is claiming a victory. Rebels say they're now in control of the Tal Abyad border crossing into Turkey. Turkish media reported that they seized that crossing, tearing down the Syrian flag and posters of the president, Bashar al-Assad.
Another young boy injured, according to this activist video, in an airstrike at Mar'a, north of Aleppo. Amnesty says civilians are inevitably the main victims of increasingly indiscriminate, relentless bombardments by regime forces. Heavy artillery is being used routinely against areas like Mar'a that have slipped out of government control. The regime is making free use of its unchallenged air power too. The result is massive damage in any area that comes under attack, and that, these days, means almost everywhere in the country.
Allahu Akbar.
That includes parts of the capital, Damascus. This is activist footage of an airstrike on the Al-Hajj al-Aswad district on the southern side of the city, where rebels have been holding out. Army troops have moved into parts of the quarter. Activists said more than 20 people were summarily executed here and a similar number at Jobar in eastern Damascus. United Nations investigators say human rights violations are also increasing as the struggle intensifies. Syria's closest regional ally, Iran, is clearly alarmed. Its foreign minister held talks with President Assad in Damascus after meeting Egypt and Turkey about a peaceful solution.
This is the third Turkish border crossing to fall under the control of Syrian rebel fighters after a fierce gun battle during which 2 Turkish civilians are reported to have been wounded inside Turkey. It's estimated that 300 Syrians have already crossed into Turkey via this gate, where there are upwards of 83,000 Syrian refugees. This man is saying, "I am carrying bottles of water to Syria to the Syrian opposition. They're very thirsty, they've been fighting since last night, so I'm taking water to them."
As government troops and rebels clash in Syria, a fresh warning emerges about chemical weapons. Major General Adnan Silu, who was once the head of Syria's chemical arsenal, told the Times of London that Syrian authorities have made plans to use chemical weapons against civilians. He described it as a last resort if the regime lost control of an important area like Aleppo. Silu, who defected from the regime in July, said the discussions were the last straw for him before he fled to Turkey. He also told the Times the government had considered sending the weapons to the Lebanon-based militant group Hezbollah, saying the regime had nothing to lose by sharing its arms with allies in the region. If a war starts between Hezbollah and Israel, he said, it will only be good for Syria. Western powers, including France, the US and the UK, have repeatedly warned the use of chemical weapons could force them to intervene in Syria.
A red line for us is we start seeing a whole bunch of chemical weapons moving around or being utilized. That would change my calculus.
In July, Bashar al-Assad's regime acknowledged for the first time that it had chemical weapons. It's believed to be the 3rd largest stockpile in the world.
People are being killed and the country is being destroyed. Artillery, in Damascus you hear day and night the sound of big guns in the suburbs of Damascus. I think that Aleppo is much worse. It's not a month yet. I will not stay one day beyond, if God forbid, I realize that I cannot go any further, I will stop and give up. But as long as there is any hope that we can help in any way, possible, we will continue.
The Secretary-General of the Arab League, Nabil al-Arabi, meanwhile, says there is little chance of success of winning peace at the moment in Syria unless a new government replaces President Assad's regime.
Brahim is, from the very beginning, said it's, I think what he used is almost impossible mission. And he's right in that, no doubt. Impossible as long as the international situation does not change. He did not say in the abstract it will never be possible. But as things stand, there is no way to achieve a breakthrough. What is needed is the beginning of the transitional period, which will entail, of course, a new government, a coalition government, whatever it is. And also the Arab resolution said, or issued an appeal to President Assad to step down.